Hello Chunky, it's a Saturday, live across the world. This is the Voice of Reason. Normally when I stick something up here, I put a lot of effort into it and do a lot of shtick and a lot of nonsense and comedy bits and write it and spend hours editing it. And then for some reason, very few people relatively seem to be watching it. So there's a few things happen this week that I'd like you to know about should I suddenly disappear again and end up back in the Huskar doing 2.8 years of the remaining bit of my license period of the 5.5-year sentence I was given for words, hurty words. As we see in the newspapers this morning, it's very clear that things like involving children, and by the way, I'm not using any words on here anymore because you can't. The second you say certain words, you get shadow banned. So I'll show them the screen grab, Tarquin, and just to let you know that now they've decriminalised this. And it seems after Hugh and this man and others, many others, of which they reckon there's 800,000 in the United Kingdom, words on the new enemy, not the protection of children, which seems to now be on the absolute back foot because they say these people don't have victims. Well, I think you'll find the people who are involved in the videos and images they're watching are hugely affected, as are their families, but that's not why you called. So this week, I had my meeting with Probation, which has been going very, very well. They come here because I'm banned from the Probation office because MOJ are furious that whilst in prison, I wrote 6 books, the first of which is available now on Kindle, and you can get the paperback at alexbelfield.com. And they didn't like the fact that after 2.5 years, I put out the front covers. And they realised that they'd given an investigative journalist the opportunity to have an insight into the HMP disaster. Not my opinion, by the way. Mama Mahood, the lady who's in charge of prison, says that it is in complete chaos, disaster, and on the verge of collapse. Well, to give me access to 5 different pokies during that period, which continues, by the way, is very interesting. I talk a lot about things that are way too detailed for this, but I mean, one of the curious things is they say that prisons are full. They are not. It is a lie that they're full. They're intentionally full. There's 10,000 people in prison right now who could be sent home to foreign parts who shouldn't be here in the first place. They choose to keep them. Secondly, there's 20,000 people in prison back on license, many of which shouldn't be there because they did things like miss an appointment and some 12-year-old box ticker sent them back because they couldn't be asked to do the paperwork. So there's lots of real awful reasons why people are in prison wrongly, a bit like Lucy Connolly. And by the way, she sent a note thanking me for thanking you for sending her letters. Please keep doing that. Lucy Connolly is in prison for words, hurty words, boohoo words, like Rachel Reeves. And people got very upset about it. So where are we now? Well, I am reformed. Under the Rehabilitation Act, I am able to get on with my life as a man who did a non-violent, non-sexual, non-drugs related crime, and therefore can get on because I'm a 0.17% risk. No matter what anybody tells you, this is not a proper crime. In America, this would never have happened, that I would have been able to be kidnapped by the state and held hostage for 2.9 years, let alone go through the indignity of all the court process and, of course, the lawfare that goes with it. Now, on top of Probation this week, who told me that there are people trying to get me sent back to prison, making them have to watch every single video I do because they keep saying that I'm breaking the law, even though I'm not. And in fact, in their defense, they say I'm not either. They have watched everything and they're not remotely concerned about 1 second of a single video I've put out. So that is comforting. But I'm under MAPA 2 level 3. Now, you can't be MAPA 3 because that's for, we will not say those bad words because they'll shadow ban this video. That's for those people. So the highest level you can possibly be, terrorism level, is MAPA 2 level 3. So suddenly my videos aren't being watched here. So we find out this week that the media keep going to MAPA and to the police and to Probation, begging them to send me back to prison. And people keep ringing up the police saying he can't say this and he can't do that and he's doing a hate crime here and he's saying this and he's saying that. Well, listen, these people can do what they want, but I just want you to know what's going on because it's not fair and it's not just and it's not legal. Now, that's not me boo-hooing. I'm just telling you that I shouldn't be shadow banned from YouTube, going from 250,000 hits in the first week down to 15,000 on yesterday's video because they're not showing anyone. Also, I keep getting messages saying that you're being unsubscribed. Would you subscribe back, please? And let's do a test to see whether that's working. The reality is we're living in a country now where you can't say anything because there's too many people playing the game of let's cancel this person because they're so unwell and medicated and not wearing pants because of their condition, and then when you call them out, they play the mental health card that you can't say anything about anyone. Now, I don't happen to care because I've got a life. I'm very lucky to still have a home, although they're doing their best to try and get it. I had another letter this week for another High Court writ. And this person wants me to go through the whole process, which, as we know, you can buy a gagging order for £250,000. Yes, you can buy silence in this country because I can't afford to battle it. Having already spent £400,000 on legal fees over the clown case and 2 High Court writs, I can't afford £250,000 to get involved in other writs. So what do? Well, you have 2 choices. You either self-represent, which is fine. And by the way, I'm going to talk about this more at AlexBelfield.com. There's also misnomers about my case. I did not self-represent. I had a judge. I had a High Court justice who was deciding the case, but my casee was a silk who was a judge. In fact, a public safety, a public protection casee for Wales, who is a judge in Wales. I just chose not to pay for it. I played the system, and I'll explain how you can play the system at AlexBelfield.com on Sunday, because people keep saying lies about, oh, he was sent down because he didn't have representation. They say, oh, he didn't speak because he did. No, I did speak. They spent 5 days playing my police statement, reading it out verbatim. My story never changed. I didn't need to speak. We said everything. I did have a KC Silk. But you can't beat a corrupt system. You can't beat a corrupt police force that will overcome bail from a magistrate who said it had to be ended because they'd made no progress in the case. You can't beat corruption. So if I suddenly disappear from here, you'll know why. They are trying and trying in the mainstream media to get me cancelled, but they can't do it publicly now because we've written to them, the lawyers have written to them to say under the Rehabilitation Act, the law, I have to be left alone. You can't keep interviewing people who got a not guilty and were not believed and lied in court and repeating lies from a case where they got a not guilty and then putting it out as we just want to say it again because we want to give him a pounding and get him cancelled. I understand there's a lot of very upset people who don't like the fact that I'm not dead. Yesterday I was in a pub and a governor from a prison came up to me and said they'd seen paperwork. The shock and disbelief that I coped with prison and I'm not dead is palpable across the entire prison service. I'm not meant to be here now. People like me, i.e. not criminals, don't cope in prison. What they didn't realise was I became a hero to the masses because the bad lads don't like people being shafted, and nor do the good screws. They all looked after me. I was fine. But this game to cancel is a real thing, and they go about it insidiously in many ways. It's not all bad news, by the way. Probation have been amazing since I come out sorting out the lies of HMP Stockton and the 20 OMU's Offender Management Unit goons from the .gov mafia who lied consistently across the 2.5 years, which are documented meticulously in the 4 prison books, which will start being released at the end of August. Probation have followed the law, which is that I'm entitled, once rehabilitated, to my human right of free speech, Article 10. So that's why I'm back here. And there's nothing they can do about it. And my only restriction is not to mention the victims. That's no problem, trust me. Then, yesterday, the phone rang and they confirmed all of the tour dates are fine. We've sorted it out. Originally, they said you will never appear live again. Well, they can't stop me. And they're not trying to now. So tomorrow night at AlexBelfield.com, we will give access to the tour to those behind the paywall because they're the people I trust, because they're on our side. We know if I give those dates here, A, people will try and cancel them. B, they'll turn up, record it, and try and get me sent back to prison because it's a game. These little mishkites have nothing going on in their lives or their heads, and the game is to cancel people like me and Katie and Tom and everybody else and get us thrown in prison. It's a game. So we have to be cleverer than they are, which doesn't take a lot because these are imbeciles, medicated, and in many cases have unfeasibly large eyeballs. So don't do jokes. You'll be in big trouble, Belfield. So what we have to do is rise above it and just keep going. So there's lots of great news. The tour will go ahead this summer, very soon actually. Within weeks, I will be on the road and you can see me. Come to AlexBelfield.com, join the party, and you'll get first access. But after I make them public, we know they're going to do everything they can to beg venues to cancel me. Why? I'm no risk to the public, 0.17% and rehabilitated. It's a game. The only people that will get access to that tour first are people who subscribe to AlexBelfield.com. And you say, why do you have to do that? Because nobody's going to see this video. Nobody's going to see anything I say if it's remotely controversial. That's why I'm not using any words in this video, because there's a small chance it might slip through the net. But when I make a video yesterday about grape, for example, suddenly nobody sees it. And subscribers have gone down 3 in 2 days. It's plateaued and gone down 3. That's impossible. On a 16,000 hit video, I've got 2,000 likes. That's impossible. It doesn't happen. On 16,000, you probably get 300 likes. So there's games going on is all I'm saying. It doesn't bother me, but I just want you to know what's going on. So we've got a few things going on. There's many, many lies about what happened in the trial that aren't true, and I'm going to address all of them at AlexBelfield.com. Book 2 will be out, by the way, in 2 years, 8 months' time, because it's currently banned because they want to check it. And I'm not letting anybody check my journalism. That's not the ethic. That's not how it works. I am not allowing the government to put a red line through anything they don't want me to say. So book 2 will be released the day my license ends. In the meantime, we have 5 other books. The first one's on Kindle, the first one's at AlexBelfield.com in paperback, and that is my life story. At the end of August, the first prison book will be out. That's called Surviving the Slammer, and etc., through a Shaw Wank redemption. After Christmas, we will do the pantomime, Jack and the Beanstalker, which will be wonderful, and I'll be back on tour this summer. So it's going very badly for the shushy brigade who want me cancelled. They wanted me cancelled from here. They put publicly, I can't say who it is, but well, Google it, you'll see it. They wanted me cancelled from YouTube and bragged about it. And they're furious that I'm still here. They publicly said they tried to get me kicked off Twitter. This isn't about justice, it's about shushy, because I'm not saying what they want me to say. This is political, and it was from the beginning. And it is still the most laughably disproportionate case in history, bearing in mind probation did not want me to go to prison as a man of good character. Their pre-sentencing report said, don't send him to prison. And the judge decided 5.5 years. Well, two-tier Britain, Lucy Connolly, she should not be in prison. She sent a beautiful note thanking you for writing to her, by the way. She sent it via someone else. I can't contact her for 3 months. I can't see her for 3 months because that's what the rules are of the license condition for every single prisoner in this country. But I will be going to see her. She is so grateful for the solidarity, and please keep writing to her. Lucy Connolly is a hostage. She has been kidnapped by the state to make an example, and that's what they did to me. They said it. I went to prison for somebody who didn't do something that didn't happen. They said they weren't scared of me. It was somebody who might support me, who might do something that didn't do it. Have you ever heard of anything more fucking absurd in your whole life? So we're all on the same page. They're trying to get me sent back to prison. They're shadow banning me on YouTube. They don't want me on Twitter. The tour has been approved, which will give the dates at AlexBelfield.com. The books are out whether they like it or not. And the whole court story will be available as soon as this ends, because it's too risky in the meantime. I'm going to keep trying to make your videos, but I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. I was up till 4 a.m. on Thursday editing. There's no point. I don't need to do that for AlexBelfield.com. We don't piss about with all this stuff. We just talk honestly. I'm trying to entertain you, but they're working so hard to down my subs and stop people seeing it. It's ridiculous. Yet, of course, if I were doing something inappropriate with children, I would have been suspended and there'd be none of this. They wouldn't even blink an eye. It's almost as if they're all in the same game. They're all in on it. There's something going on, I'm telling you. There's too many patterns. There's too many coincidences. And when I talk about the news, at 6 a.m. in the morning, 30 minutes of the news, and we see another man has gone in London, I won't use any strong words, has gone in London over a stolen watch. We realize that 7/7 was the tip of the iceberg. We realize that actually it's worse today than it was on that day, because every day people are being absolutely decimated by what's going on in Sadiq's London. Listen, I've said too much. The whole story is at alexbelford.com. The news is at 6 a.m. That's Monday through Saturday. 30 minutes of the 30 biggest stories. The phone-in is Sunday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. If I go from here, so be it. But I'd love this party to continue. So if you could subscribe, that helps. Like, let's see if it works, and comment. The comments are through the floor. Yet every comment seems to be positive. This isn't paranoia. I'm just telling you what's going on. But the fact that probation are telling me that they don't have a problem with this, and that's why they're letting me go on tour. It's all been approved. Yet at the same time, they confess that there are people incessantly ringing probation, MAPA, the Terrorism National Division of Probation, to get me sent back to prison. Just shows what a horrible, nasty, vindictive world it's become. People can't leave me alone. They're obsessed and fixated. Just Google YouTube. You can see these people won't stop. And they create their own fantasies. But it's a game. It's all a game. Whether it's Lucy, whether it's me, whether it's Tommy, whether it's Katie, it's a game. She's doing great, by the way. Saw her yesterday in Lincoln. Massive tour across the UK. I couldn't be prouder. Had a call from Tommy on Tuesday. He's taken a couple of weeks off because he's absolutely exhausted. We won't give in. That's the point. We're not the type of people that give in. But there is a big price to pay. But just know what's going on behind the scenes. They're doing the same to Tommy and Katie and me. It's the same game. What is connecting all these people that are so desperate to shut us up? And what is it they don't want us to say? Please subscribe. Please like and comment. Please go to alexbelford.com if you'd like to join us for the phone-in tomorrow night, live from 9. I've had me say, I've slapped it on the table. Let's see what happens next.